Hello, hello, hello. Come right on in. Welcome. Thank you for coming in and spending some of your precious time. Today on Current Events Now, we have a uh, topic that I think uh, requires some attention. It kind of saddens my heart that we have to even cover something like this. Today's topic is diversity, DEI, used as a racist trope. DEI used as a racist trope. Currently in the news, if you've been watching it in any of the national news, you would know that the president-elect has decided to utilize DEI in a very ugly way, in a very racist way, by saying that it's a racist, the system is a racist process. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is anything but. What is DEI? DEI is, just as it says, diversity, meaning that your workforce is diversified. You have different peoples from all walks of life. The principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion provide a conceptual framework that many companies utilize to support participation at work, to make those who may not feel represented feel represented, and those who are marginalized and pushed to society brought to the front. Discrimination, historically, blacks know what discrimination is, and diversity and equity and inclusion is anything but that. What you're going to see here is lies being told about what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. It is the inclusion of peoples from every walk of life, whether you're Pakistani, Indian, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, etc., etc., etc. It includes you, and it makes sure that you have that ladder of opportunity. We know that in a lot of corporations around the country, and around the world for that matter, discrimination has played a major role in who gets hired and who doesn't get hired. And so this was DEI was a corrective action to correct that and to fix that. Certainly most people's, if you worked in any corporations, and I've worked in many, when they put out a job and the requirements, and it requires degrees, high degrees, first of all, if you do not have those degrees, you're not even going to get an interview. They're not even going to interview you, and they're going to check your degrees to make sure that they are that they're true, that they're not false, because some people present false degrees. So they're going to verify that. And I bring that up to say to you that this here war against DEI is a reversal of racism, ugly racism, and it pains me as an American to see this going on with the president, who's supposed to be for all of us, whether we voted for him or not. But to come out and to remove it and to say that it is racism is just, it spits in the face of every American who has experienced discrimination. I want to take the time to point out diversity. Diversity encompasses a range of similarities and differences each individual will bring to the table, to the workforce, including but not limited to our language and our nationality, our origin, our ethnicity, age, religion, sexual orientation, disabilities. You know, when I worked for many different type of corporations, I enjoyed getting to know peoples. I got to know peoples from India, Pakistan. I got to know peoples from Asia. I got to know peoples from Africa, peoples from Mexico, peoples from the Virgin Islands, and the list just goes on and on and on. And it was a great pleasure to get to know these peoples, to see and hear their stories about their traditions and the way, their upbringing, even to see the different dishes that they would bring to lunch, you know. So diversity is a good thing. Equity. Equity defines the fair treatment. That's all it is. It just defines fair treatment for everyone and access and advancement of each person in the organization. When you have people that are happy in the organization, I can guarantee you that organization is doing really good. That the bottom line is really, really good. Oh, there's the phone. Uh, Including fairness and pay and fairness and daily work experience, opportunities for advancement, equity focuses on achievement and gives a great outcome. So you're not going to get nothing but good results from DEI. Inclusion. Inclusion is defined as the policy of providing equal access, opportunity, resources for peoples who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. So it brings people who feel like they may not be a part of the company in and says, hey, we want your ideals. We want you to be part of us. You know, we want the best, the brightest. We want to hear what you're thinking, what ideals you have. Bring it to the table and we'll look at it. Inclusion is creating a good, wholesome environment where people can thrive and survive, and they're happy to come to work because they feel like they're a part of something. And when you got a workforce like that, you can't be nothing but a winner. You can't do nothing but succeed. You know, so as we dive into this diversity and equity and inclusion, we want to tear down the falsities that you've heard in the news and tell you exactly what diversity, how it works, and how thousands of corporate companies utilize diversity and inclusion, and how it has really stepped up that company's bottom line. You know, diversity it has a great impact on innovation. When peoples are given the pathway to give their ideals and to bring them forward and to put them on paper and to put them on the board and to see from that board that ideal is created into a product and sold to millions of people around the world, there's nothing more satisfying than that. And so that is what one of the outcomes of diversity will foster. When organizations promote DEI, it creates an environment where employees are comfortable sharing their ideals, as I just went over. And when you're comfortable sharing your ideals and you can speak up, it empowers. And it's a collective empowerment when people feel a part of the company and they can give their 2 cents. Creating innovation is certainly the way to bring new ideals to the market. And when you're in business, it's all about your ideals and making those ideals into realities and those realities into money. That is a winning combination. And DEI fosters the company and makes certain that each person feels a part, feels that they can contribute. And when you have a diverse you're diverse across your company, it's a winning product. Diversity will impact recruitment. For example, if you truly do want to have a diverse employments in your company, recruiting, utilizing DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, will guarantee you get good, wholesome employees that you will be satisfied with, and they will be satisfied with the company. So it's a two-way street. You know, you have to be satisfied with the company has to be satisfied with you. And certainly when you have companies that are hostile toward individuals, they're not going to stay there. And that's a sad situation. We should never applaud companies that don't want a diverse workforce. You should not spend your dollars with companies that does not want a diverse workforce. And going forward, if you see companies that are starting to not have a diverse workforce, withhold your dollars. The most powerful thing that you can do, the most powerful tool that you have is your money. Money is power. And when you see that a company is being racist in its practices, the best thing that people can do is withhold their dollars from that company. DEI impacts employee satisfaction. I can tell you that's a fact. When an employee is not happy, when an employee is impacted by the employee's experience and their effects of engagement, their performance is going to be bad when they're not happy, because of the hostility of not being able to grow, not being able to feel a part of the company, not feeling like your ideals will be heard. So when these things are going on, that is to me a organization that is going to go down, and it's going to go down quickly. You want the best and the brightest. DEI policies empower employees to do the work and to do it in a most efficient way, and have a confidence about it that motivates and contributes fully to the company and your participation. When you have your workers and they're participating in the meetings, in the strategy, and the execution, that is the best process forward for a successful company, for whether you're big or small. So I just want to take and make certain that we are looking at what DEI, what it is, and how it impacts employees, how it impacts companies, how it opens up the door to engage the employee to get a much better productive citizen, a much better productive employee. DEI can improve engagement. Let's talk about that for a minute. Many employees, when they go to work, if they don't feel like they're a part of what is going on, they're not being engaged, this has a direct effect on their performance. And it increases a culture of non-participating. And when they're not participating, they're not giving their best. And that may be because of the tension within the workforce. And that is what DEI stamps out. It wants inclusiveness, equity, and inclusiveness. That is what it is: diversity, equity, and inclusivity. I can tell you, from working for many companies, a lot of them were diversified, and I'm telling you, it's a wonderful thing to work with people from all over, as opposed to just being with one specific minority. That's never a good thing. It really isn't. And I hope, for the sake of this country, that does not end up being the outcome. But I take great comfort in the data that says more than 50% of the American peoples agree that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a good thing for the workforce. So everybody is not buying into this trope of hatred. That's all it is. It's hatred. I'm going to call it what it is. It's pure hate. Hate of others. You're taken from me. We should deserve that. We should get that. We should have that. There is no sense of equal fairness. They've taken diversity and turned it into a trope of racism. And we as Americans should speak up. Wherever you are, speak up. I thought about not doing this segment because I don't know how that's going to come across. But certainly when you're on the right side of any argument, you ought to be glad to speak up for the good. My mother and father are deceased, and if I thought about it, I said, if I don't speak up, my parents would be so disappointed, because discrimination and racism is an ugly thing.